Hello, and welcome back to Titan Sports. I'm Francisco Molina.
Hey everyone, I'm Colin Costigan.
How's it going? I'm Noah Segovia.
And I'm Eddie Bruegger. We're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
The Anaheim Ducks and the LA Kings faced off in the second round of this season's Freeway Faceoff at Crypto.com Arena last Saturday night. This was a battle of special teams as all 4 goals scored came either on the power play or while shorthanded. The Ducks would first strike with a power play goal from Jacob Silverberg. The Kings would answer back with their own power play goal from Kevin Fiala. Goals in the second came from Sam Carrick and Drew Doughty and would be the end of the scoring in regulation. Neither team would score in the 3-on-3 overtime, sending the game to be decided in a shootout. In the shootout, the Kings scored twice and the Ducks could only put the puck in the back of the net once, leading to a Kings victory.
The Kings have now won both meetings of the Freeway Faceoff. The two rivals will play twice more this season. The Ducks currently sit in 7th place of the Pacific Division with 43 points, and the Kings hold on to the 4th spot with 68 points.
Major League Baseball players will be wearing newly designed jerseys this season. Fans and players have already started complaining about the new look. The jerseys are designed by Nike and manufactured by Fanatics. Half fans have said about the cheap look. One Baltimore Orioles player said, quote, "The look of it looks like a knockoff jersey from TJ Maxx." MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred defended the jerseys, saying, quote, "They are designed to be performance wear as opposed to what is traditionally worn, so they are going to be different," end quote.
The players got to first wear these jerseys last season at the MLB All-Star Game in Seattle. The feedback from the All-Star Game was positive, according to Nike and MLB.
Steph Curry and the Warriors handled business last Thursday as they defeated the LeBron-less Lakers 128-110. This win takes the bad taste out of their mouths, losing in double overtime on their last head-to-head a month ago. With both teams returning from the All-Star break, it was obvious that one team was ready for the dance. Curry was with the shots as he went for 32 points, hitting 6 from distance along with 8 assists.
Curry would get the ball rolling, looking for any opportunity to get a shot off. Golden State's rookie, Trace Jackson-Davis, commented on the All-Stars performance, saying, quote, "Having someone with that caliber shooting the ball like that, you just want to give him as many shots as possible, because you know that when he's in that zone, it's hard to stop," end quote. Curry shot 12 for 24 on the field and had his 4th 30-point game in the last 6.
Along with his 30-point game, he adds on to his incredible resume with his assists. The 8th assist gives the 2-time MVP his 6,000th career assist, becoming the 8th player in NBA history to score at least 23,000 points and passing for 6,000 assists. This accolade puts him up with elites joining legends like LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, John Havlicek, and Kobe Bryant.
With the Lakers snapping their 3-game win, their fans can be hopeful as their stars performed well. Anthony Davis led the team, scoring 27 points with 15 rebounds, and D'Angelo Russell had 18 points with 9 assists. As for LeBron James, head coach Darvin Ham calls his injury a, quote, "day-to-day thing," unquote. James suffers from a left ankle injury, a game before the All-Star break. Is he set to return Friday night against the San Antonio Spurs?
The Big West Conference better look out for Cal State Fullerton, DJ Breeden, and Torrey San Antonio, as they will get a game to remember. With both scoring 20 points last Thursday, the Fullerton's men's basketball team defeated the Cal Poly Pomona Mustangs 68-50. The win was needed as they snapped their 5-game losing streak, improving the record to 12-15 and a conference record of 5-10.
CSUF's head coach, Dedrick Taylor, was content with the team's win, saying, quote, "I thought our group came out focused tonight," end quote. Adding on, he praises the players' performance, saying, quote, "We guarded well, we rebounded and were able to get out and score in transition," end quote. It was the dynamic duo of Bruton and San Antonio that stole the show as their points led to an incredible victory.
It was San Antonio hitting the 20-point mark for the first time, shooting 7 for 15, he knocked down a career-high 5 3-pointers while adding 6 rebounds and assists and a steal. Bruton shot 9 for 14 on the night, along with 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. The duo combined for 40 points each with an 18-point victory.
The team collectively shot well, shooting for 40% from the field. They did even better from 3 with 44% and held the Mustangs to 34% shooting. The Titans scored 14 points off of the Mustangs' 14 turnovers, and a magnificent stat line would be the Titans outscoring their bench 31-5.
All right, stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming up right after the break.
So I'd really like to start off talking about these new MLB jerseys this year. We know Nike still owns it. They still have, like, that's their product, but it's being manufactured by Fanatics this year, and changes are noticeably different. I really just want to hear your thoughts on these, and with a lot of the complaints from like certain anonymous players within like the Orioles organization, and then a lot of fans have been going to Twitter and other platforms to really like express their opinions. I also just want to hear what you guys think the MLB can do about this.
Yeah, I think it's bad for business both for MLB, Nike, and Fanatics to have a product like that with thin material, see-through jerseys is terrible. It's bad for business. And it's also a disapproval from their employees, the players' standpoint. I want to quote MLBPA Union Director President Tony Clark. He told Fox Sports about 5 days ago, quote, "It's a frustrated thing over the uniform changes, and we aim to have those jerseys reviewed by opening day," end quote. And now, if you have a union president backing you up, it's a serious issue. And the time for change is now, and just like Deion Sanders says, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. Mm-hmm. And MLB is worth $2.36 billion. Please, they want to have their employees satisfied. Not only their employees, but their fans, because the fans buy the product. If the fans are disappointed with the product, there is something that Manfred and the uniform department and Nike Fanatics, they have to do something before opening day, because it's outrageous. All the harsh comments, disapproval ratings, it's bad for business, period.
Absolutely, I would agree on that. And then adding to it, you have a consumer disapproval at its finest, right? Ever since Majestic and its contract with the MLB has expired, Nike took over, and people haven't been happy since. And we've seen this, unfortunately, before with the Nike giant that it is in the sports world. When they took over the NBA contract years ago, the first year we had players who had their jerseys ripped, right? And one of the things that Nike tries to capitalize its marketing is this new tech advanced kind of fabric that they have. In all honesty, in my opinion, I think that's just a fancy way of them getting cheaper materials. And that's the thing, the consumer knows it. And not only are fans upset about it, but when the players who are your biggest asset in advertising these jerseys are showing a disapproval, then you need to go back on the drawing board, and you have the funds to give the consumer what they want.
Yeah, and honestly, like you had mentioned with like Nike, it really just seems like they're getting cheaper and cheaper. I really think it's interesting. I also saw something, I think it was on Twitter or something, they had mentioned like one of the players just took a picture of their jersey, and Fanatics thought that it was a actual like fan complaining about it, and they like left like the AI generated comment.
Wow.
And it was like, that's a bad look too. If that, I don't know if that was 100% real, but I saw on a few different platforms. So that is another example of them not really knowing their audience and being really just unsure of what they're doing. And it's really sad because it's like I miss the Majestic jerseys, and to think that they got bought. I believe you mentioned they got bought out by Fanatics. Or I mean, yeah Fanatics. Yeah, it's just
it's weird.
It's terrible. But I mean, if we're gonna transition to something that's a little bit more exciting, we're talking about Steph Curry, his performance. The Warriors, of course, they seem to be. They rely on him most of this year, and that's kind of just been the season for them. But they're starting to get into a groove a little bit. They're both above 500. They're currently 10th, right behind the Lakers. Right now, they're only half a game behind. Seeing the way those two, they're like the games that they've had this year, especially that double overtime game that was really exciting.
Yeah.
Do you see a potential play-in matchup for these teams?
Absolutely. I think that it's funny to see the position that they're in right now, that they find themselves in. These were two teams that were constantly in conversation in sports shows throughout all of America of who they're, if they have the potential to represent the Western Conference in the finals. Now we see that we're in this later part of both LeBron and Curry's career, where we're dwindling towards the end, the latter parts of their career, and now you can see that the Western Conference has gotten younger, it's gotten faster, and it's gotten stronger. And unfortunately, their teams just haven't been able to keep up. However, I do believe that the viewership and the fans want to see this more than anything. So how cool would it be to see LeBron and Curry go at it for a one-game elimination game to see who can make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's good for business, not only from an NBA standpoint, but from a fan standpoint. My thing is I want to focus on the bench because the Lakers bench had multiple players like Russell, Reeves, etc. And look at the Warriors have Thompson, etc. So I want to see how Kerr and Ham both utilize their bench aspects of the game, and hopefully the bench aspect is a turning point in their potential playoff matchup.
I think it's like you had mentioned, it's not only great for business, but just for the NBA fans. It's like these are two legends who are like still playing like almost what you could say like they were in their prime. At the level of competition, especially in today's league with how high like offense is being prioritized, they're still delivering that every game, and the effort is there. It's something like, even though I'm not a fan of either of these teams, it's a win-win for me as a Kings fan. I see one of them lose, but I could actually see both of these teams, like if they're going at the rate they're going, I think they're mainly play-in, but I do potentially see at least, I'm more so for the Lakers. I could see them slipping up to like the 6th seed and potentially getting out of the play-in, but for the most part, I think both the Warriors and Lakers are play-in teams from what I'm seeing right now, really. But now, speaking of basketball, our very own men's basketball team recently snapped their 5-game losing streak. We know it's been a tough season for them with injuries to like Max Jones. He's been out for the last few games. I just want to know, with the type of season that they've had, what are some of the bright spots that you've noticed?
I think the bright spots is like we mentioned, Bruton and San Antonio stepping up their game. Bench players like Robinson and Grayson Carper stepping up. And I think one bright spot for them right now is the way they handle themselves, even though they had a rough season. I think the way they handle themselves for the last 3 or 4 games remaining is really crucial, not only for their character, but the way they present themselves. And hopefully, if they can do that, they can get a bid into the Big West Conference and get the ball rolling, probably into March Madness, hypothetically. But yeah, all focus is on the whole team in general, on the way they conducted themselves this season, even though there was a lot of cons. But there's also a lot of positives with the roster and the coaching staff.
Absolutely. I'm going to let my brother Eddie take on this one.
Thanks. Yeah, so in recent games, I've been to a few of them in person, and unfortunately, the most recent ones I've been to, they've lost. But really, they even when they were down a lot, they had some good runs, like nearly coming back from being down 12 or 14 points even. So you could see that the talent is there. They just, I guess they can't make it happen all the time. And in this recent game against Cal Poly, there were the 2 players that you mentioned, and then also some good defensive play from Square. He had a steal, which turned into a goal, and then he also had a block as well. So definitely like good defensive play from him. So kind of they're showing their skills on both sides of the game. They can come back from these big deficits and then also make defensive plays where it counts. Now, it is important to note that Cal Poly's record is 4-23, so CSUF was definitely at an advantage going into this one. So going into the NCAA tournament, I don't know if they have the potential to make it that far. You know, of course, classic with March Madness are the upsets, right? The first round, you always have a good time seeing, you know, a 16 seed beat a number 1 seed like FDU and Purdue. But realistically, I don't see CSUF making it very far. I think maybe they could get through that initial round, but other than that, I'm not sure how far they're going to get.
So I honestly am a little bit, so I like to mention what we talked about earlier with the bright spots. I wanted to give, I shout out to Max Jones. I know he's been injured, but I like his stats this year. He's put up 15 points, 3 boards, about 2 assists a game.
Right.
He has had, like, obviously player that's dealing with injuries, it's going to be difficult, but he's been one of the bright spots for us. He's really been carrying the team, I feel like, along with many other role players as well, but he's really been that guy for the team. And another guy that you had mentioned with John Mikey Square, he may not stuff like the stat sheet. Like for this season, he's averaging 4 points, about 3.5 boards, and a little less than assists per game. But with the games that I've been to, he's always put in the effort. I remember seeing the game that I believe we were both at. He just threw him, like he was trying to save a ball out of bounds and just threw himself into the scoreboard. It's like that's the kind of effort you want to see from players.
Absolutely.
So it'll be interesting to see. I really want to see if they can make it to the Big West. There's 4 remaining games. They play Long Beach on Thursday, and they also play UCI. Those are going to be their tougher matchups.
Yeah.
Now, their other games, they play Santa Barbara, and then they play Riverside. Those, I believe, are much more winnable games, but there is still that chance that they could make the Big West tournament and then see what they can do from there to try and make it. They were very close last year. Unfortunately, they lost to UC Santa Barbara in the title game for the Big West. That would have gotten them into March Madness. So I actually do see a lot of potential for this team. So despite it being a negative season that they would say, I believe that there's a lot to look forward to in the future.
Right.
100%.
All right, Titans, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Colin Costigan.
Hope to see you again. I'm Francisco Molina.
Thank you for watching. I'm Noah Segovia.
And I'm Eddie Bruegger. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already at CSUF Titan Sports to keep you updated on all things sports.